Deep brain stimulation may enable patients suffering from some movement disorders and related symptoms to have greater control over their movements.
Last week we met Anita Pinn as she made the decision to undergo this revolutionary surgery. This week we see how the surgery works and find out more about its benefits. Take a look.
I was at the point where it's like you lay down, you curl up and you die, or you have the procedure. For me, it wasn't a difficult question at all. Everybody's like, oh, you got to be so brave to consider brain surgery and everything. I'm like, no, your choice is you lay down and give up, or you get up and you fight, you do something about it.
It can be very disabling to have Parkinson's disease or essential tremor. Interferes with all of your activities of daily living. Obviously, brain surgery isn't the first line of treatment for those conditions, and patients are tried on medications first. But unfortunately, there are some patients who eventually no longer respond to medications. And there are some patients that have severe side effects to medications.
We get to a point where we say we've maximized their medication therapy. We don't have much to offer in terms of making it better. That's a very key time to say we really should consider evaluating you for the brain surgery.
DBS stands for Deep Brain Stimulation Therapy, and we use it for a couple of different conditions, Parkinson's disease primarily, and another tremor condition called essential tremor. Ms. Prinz has Parkinson's disease, and it causes a severe debilitating tremor, some stiffness and slowing of movements, and sometimes some involuntary twisting motions we call dyskinesias. And DBS therapy can alleviate a lot of those types of symptoms. The optimum target in Parkinson's disease is a small, deep area of the brain called the subthalamic nucleus, or what we call the STN. And it's an area of the brain that is about maybe 5 millimeters in diameter and located 7 centimeters below the surface of the brain. So it's in a deep central location. So obviously we have to be extremely precise and choose the safest possible route from the surface down to that target. We do that by mounting this device to the patient's head, which, believe it or not, we have a way to do that with sedative medications and local anesthetics, so that's not uncomfortable for the patient. The idea is if we put this frame on and it can't move from the time we put it on, get high-resolution imaging of the brain and then go to the operating room, we can pinpoint the area of the brain that needs to be targeted. We can see it on the imaging, and then we can calculate exactly where that area sits in relationship to this fixed reference system. In other words, this is really nothing more than an XYZ Cartesian coordinate system. And once we determine what the X, Y, and Z coordinate of the STN is for that given patient, this contraption will then carry an electrode through this guide here down to the target point that we set by adjusting our coordinates on the sides here and in the up and down direction and the side-to-side direction.
We divide up the surgery into 2 stages. The first is putting the brain electrodes in, and then about 3 to 4 weeks after that surgery, they have surgery with general anesthesia. The surgeon will funnel down. The brain electrodes are coiled under the skin. He'll uncoil them, connect a connecting electrode above the ear on the scalp, and then thread that down under the skin of the neck, and then put the battery in underneath the skin, just above the clavicle area, or just below the clavicle. And then we're done. Then the patient will come to Health South, where I'll see them. I'll turn on their brain electrodes either later that day or the next morning. I'll adjust their Parkinson's meds, and they're usually here about a week. And I'll see them typically twice a day, turn on their electricity, go up a little bit, adjust it a little bit, go down on their medication. They'll get therapy here, physical therapy, speech therapy. We'll have their memory retested, make sure their balance is okay. And then we kick them out. And usually we kick them out and they're happy. They're on less medicine, they're moving better. And then I'll see them probably within 2 to 4 weeks of that, and then pretty quickly we get to the setting that we're pretty happy with, and then I'll just see them for routine follow-up every 3 months, which is typically what I do with my patients who haven't had the brain surgery.